What is the level of concern with Deshaun Goldson and then with the offensive linemen who are out?
Sean Golson's a little beat up. There is a level of concern there, but the injuries that he has, I think with another good day rest tomorrow, maybe get him some limited work in individual, I think he'll be feeling better. But we'll have to wait and see. And then the offensive line, Laribas took some reps in individual, so did Morgan. They're both hobbled a little bit, but we're hoping with time those ankles will get better.
And Deshaun, didn't talk about him after the game, I don't think, but did he get his knee banged on a tackle? That's what's
Deshaun Jackson?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. I think he's just a little bit. He's still a little sore from the previous game. He wasn't quite 100%, I guess. He's still a little sore, a little beat up this day and age, but I don't know, maybe it was a veteran day, but he is a little sore.
Did he hit the same knee?
Yeah.
Do you anticipate Will Compton and Mason Foster still being there on the inside?
Oh, yeah.
Gotcha. What have those two done to solidify that, over the last several weeks that you've seen? What have you seen out of them? What have they given you guys that maybe you hadn't gotten before?
It's not so much what we haven't gotten before. Obviously Perry Riley played well until he got injured, and Keenan did some good things when he was healthy early in the game, early in the season. Just when he hurt his shoulder, we had to find replacements, and then the replacements we found took advantage of the reps. They're playing good sound football, and they're fundamentally making good tackles, and they're communicating, and they're in the right spot. And they're making people around them better, especially Will. He's making people around him better. That's not to say when Perry comes back, we'll have to see what happens then. But Mason and Will are playing well together.
Jay, when you look at Sam Bradford, he's obviously more in command of Kelly's offense and looks more comfortable. When you look at film from that first game to the past few weeks, what have you seen in terms of the difference?
It's a major improvement for Sam. You can tell he's getting more comfortable, and that's the case with a lot of quarterbacks, whether you're a veteran or not. When you go to a new system with terminology and route concepts and getting a feel for how coaches like to call plays, there's a learning curve there. It's going to take a little bit of time. You can see he's getting more comfortable. Offensive line's doing a lot better for him, and the receivers, and he have a better, a better way of knowing each other as far as where they're going and how they're getting there. So you can see a major improvement.
You guys have been in a number of crucial situations at different points during the season where you really needed a win. You guys are another one right here. What has been the key for you kind of getting guys to respond? Is there any methods or motivation or tricks that you find that are working well for you?
I don't know. You have to ask the players. I would just try to stay consistent with our approach and just make sure we get them as physically and as mentally prepared as we can for Sunday. And just make sure they try to weather any storm that comes their way, and they've done a good job of that. Both after tough games and during games, we've weathered some tough quarters or tough calls or what have you. Guys have maintained their composure and continue to stay persistent and just kept grinding.
Jay, in addition to the sack that Preston Smith had on Sunday, seemed to be getting to Tyrod quite a bit. Just what have you seen in these last few weeks from him, how he's grown and maybe matured a bit now later into his rookie season?
Yeah, he's playing a little bit faster. I think, I think early in the season he's just trying to feel his way through. He's not coming off the ball quite as violently as you would like, but I think now he's starting to get off the snap a little bit quicker, play a little bit more speed and aggression. And that's the one thing we just keep trying to harp on him. He's got to play more violently with his hands and really get off on a snap count. And he's finding a role. He's finding a niche. He's doing a good job. You got to continue to get better, though. These teams that can throw the ball all over the joint, man, we have to have consistent pass rush. And he's had his flashes, but we need more consistent production from him. But we like that he is improving. That's a big step.
Coach, can you speak to bringing in Marcel Jensen and his how he maybe compares to Alex Smith?
Yeah, well, Marcel was available. Obviously, Andre Roberts putting him on IR. We had a spot. And, our staff, our scouting staff, thought he was a big tight end that might help us in the future. And so we plucked him off the practice squad, get him in our building, teach him our terminology for the next couple of weeks, and then have him in OTAs and training camp next year.
Okay. Yeah. Kirk is now going into has 14 starts under his belt this year, a few before that. Are you starting to see, dealing with him in practice and in meetings now that he has kind of a database of experience to draw from? Is he using that to his benefit as he goes along?
Oh, yeah, there's no question. When you're talking about a play, and you can go back to 3 or 4 weeks ago, you remember this play versus this coverage, this is what we're talking about. It hits the quarterback's brain a little bit easier than this is what I want you to envision and see. If you have direct experiences of playing that play versus that coverage, and you understand what we're talking about and know where we want to go with the ball, man, it just helps out a lot. Every experience you get, whether it's practice or games, just continues to build a quarterback's longevity and his ability to recoup information. And Kirk is really good about that as far as remembering plays that happened before and understanding what we're trying to do and what we're trying to attack and how to attack it. So every rep that he gets, man, it's just fuel for him. It's just tools in his toolkit, and he's using every one to his advantage.
Jay, obviously Kirk and Deshaun Jackson didn't have camp in the preseason to work together, or the first 6 games. So where are they now in your view in terms of their anticipation, understanding, ability to read each other, and how much better do you think that rapport can get going forward?
Better. I think you're right. I think that Deshaun's early struggles, so to speak, had a little bit to do with him missing all the training camp in the first 6-7 games. It's just you don't just jump back in at wide receiver without the timing and the continuity with the quarterback. So I think the more practice time they get together, of course they didn't practice today, but the more practice time you get together, the more comfortable you get one another, and that's important for a quarterback and a wide receiver. You look at all the great quarterback receiver tandems in the NFL; they've been together for a while, and they know the route tree just like that, how they're coming out of breaks and the double moves, and where a quarterback can lead them, how far he can lead them. So it's very important, and they're coming along good.
Hi, Jay. Since week 7, we've been seeing a very strong connection between Kirk Cousins and his tight end, Jordan Reed. Can you tell us a little bit about how that's developing and his development as a tight end in this system?
Yes. Jordan has done an excellent job as far as understanding, where to line up, understanding the concepts of the offense, what we're trying to do. But, as a tight end, you really have to understand coverages and leverages and how to get open a man-to-man and how to find holes in zones. And if you're given option routes, how to set up your defender and work the coverage. And right now, Jordan is playing with a lot of confidence, and he sees the field extremely well for a young tight end. And that's the hardest thing for a tight end coming out of college to the NFL is to, see all the routes versus different coverages and the zones and the mans and all that stuff. But Jordan's becoming a natural at it, and Kirk has a great feel for him. And they just have a great rapport as far as, when to get their head around, timing, all that stuff, has really become a thing of beauty the last few weeks. And it's just going to get better and better the more they work together.
And obviously, when you were hired 2 years ago, Bruce and Dan saw something in you. And here you are on the precipice of the playoffs. So what is it right now? I know you have your players and your staff. What is it right now that you feel you're doing the best at right now?
These interviews. I'm killing them.
It's not true. It's actually not true. So what
Not
is
true.
it? No.
So,
What is
I
it
don't,
right now
I don't
that
know,
you're-
Chick. I don't know, Chick. I don't know. I just, I just come to work every day and try to do the best I can to get this team better. And these guys have really done a great job. It really helps having a good group of people around you. And that's the biggest thing that I wanted to do is make sure you surround yourself with good people. Obviously, players that love football, passionate about the game. So give yourself a fighting chance, and it's fun to come to work every day.
Jay, when you're faced with a game like this, is there a fine line you have to walk as a coach between, getting the players focused and dialed in and maybe not getting them too tight and wound up, facing a win and you're in kind of game?
These players are pretty smart, man. They can see when a coach is tight. You know what I mean? You don't want to be tight, but you also don't want them to be freelancing all over the joint. But there is a fine line between being disciplined in what we're doing and also letting them be loose and have some fun out there. And I think that's part of my job is to make sure I know the difference. And I feel like we were dialed in today. I tapered off a couple periods there at the end to save their legs. We've got a couple injuries. But overall, I thought the attention and the focus was very good today's practice. There's still some joking around here and there, but I think everybody's dialed in, understands what's at stake. We've come a long way. A lot of the preseason polls had us ranked 32, and we're moving up. And I told them today we have made great improvements and great strides, but we still have a long way to go and a lot of work to do.
Jay, what are some of the things that you enjoy about coaching this team and being around these guys?
I just enjoy each individual personality, man. These guys are good guys, good group of guys, both on the staff and players, man. They're fun to talk to. They're fun to coach. You go from Deshaun to Pierre, they're totally different. The defense, Chris Baker, Terrence Knighton, Sean Golston, they're all over the joint personality-wise. And they're a fun group of guys. They have fun playing together. And it makes it fun coming to work every day. There's no sour pusses in here. Everybody's enjoying one another's company. They enjoy practicing for the most part. and they're all willing to do what it takes to make each other better and make this team better, which is very, very important.
Jay, I'm not done. Can I got one in here? Awesome, I appreciate that. You mentioned the being ranked 32nd, some of those preseason polls or whatever. It seems like some teams maybe try to ignore some of the outside media noise or whatever, but your guys seem to have gotten a kick out of it, maybe trying to prove people wrong. Even you earlier in the season mentioned the radio host who had mentioned your weight and all that stuff. It seems like you guys are kind of paying attention to what people are saying. I'm curious, has that been like motivating, do you think? Are you curious?
You're always looking for ways to motivate your team, and football's hard enough as it is. It's a grind, obviously, but if you can find unique ways, and there's a lot of doubters and a lot of haters that really had a lot of negative things to say about this franchise before the season, about this team, and you should take it personally. This is their jobs. This is what they are paid to do. We have a lot of pride in this locker room, and for people to give us no respect whatsoever, is insulting, and it is a motivational tool. And I'd be stupid not to use that, in my opinion, to an extent, obviously. But to challenge these guys and let them know that, hey, this is where we are. This is where we need to get. That's a long way. I think they have accepted the challenge and have come a long way. But, we don't really – I try not to buy into what people say, but I think to an extent I think it was important to let them know what the views are. It wasn't just one publication. It was ESPN, it was PFT, it was CBS, it was all of them. Had us in the 30, 31, or 32. So it is what it is. We still have a long way to go, obviously, but we're proud of what we've done so far, but we have a long way to go.